Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all you are doing great. So, myself, Tapashwini, I'm the consultant trainer of Sankyana Consultancy Services. And today we are going to conduct the life orientation of your SAS, followed by the topic assimilation and the administration of data using the SAS programming language. Okay. So, before going to proceed to our topic, let me discuss the agenda that we are going to see. So we have, so first of all, moving on towards our data governance or the data assimilation, okay, and the data administration or the data integration, we can also say it as. So we will first talk about what it says, okay, what it says, what it is like, how, what is the use of the SAS, everything we will discuss. After that, only we will go for your data governance or the data administration. Then, how to develop the effective data administration or the governance. Then, what is the framework? Okay, what is the role of the data administration in the bank? Then we have the data governance policy, we have the data governance challenges and the benefits of the data governance. Okay. So, before coming to your data governance, let me give you a short overview of the SAS. We know that SAS stands for the Statistical Analysis Software. So some of you are familiar with the SAS, some of you are not familiar with the SAS. So it will be better if I will just have a good start with the abbreviation itself. So the SAS stands for the Statistical Analysis Software. Okay, and it was created in year 1960 by the SAS Institute. Right, so from 1st January 1960, SAS was used for data management, business intelligence, predictive analysis, descriptive and the prescriptive analysis, etc. Since since then, many new statistical procedures and the components were also introduced in this particular software. Now, it is the platform independent, which means we can run the SAS on any operating system, either Linux or the Windows. Fine. And also it is driven by the SAS programmers who use the several sequences of the operations on the SAS datasets to make the proper reports for data analysis. Okay. So over the years, SAS has added numerous solutions to its products portfolio. Find many of the different industries have integrated with the SAS, have taken the SAS software. They are working with the SAS software, especially the banks. Some of the governmental organization also. Fine. It also has a solution of the data governance, data quality, big data analytics, text mining, fraud management. Okay. Then we have the health science, etc. So we can safely assume that SAS is a solution for every business domain, and also it is very secure. The most important thing is it is completely secure. Okay, it is completely secure. Now, why we are using SAS? Because it has the property, it can easily work on the large data sets. So as of today, we know that today the complete world is generating the big data. The industries is generating the big data. So SAS is completely compatible with the big data resources or the large data sets. Okay, so with the help of your SAS software, we can, as we know that we can perform various kind of statistical analysis. Also, AI has got integrated with the SAS, so you can easily build some kind of like beautiful models. Okay, some predictive models by using your SAS via. Find the business intelligence tools. Everything is good, like it is present in your SAS via. So overall, as I have told you before, that SAS is solution for every business domain. Okay, every business domain. Now, so let's talk about the data governance. We have already got a brief introduction about the SAS software. Okay, so let's understand about your data governance. So data governance or data administration, fine. Data governance and the data administration means it is the process of managing the data's usability, okay, the security, availability, and quality within an organization using the internally set and enforced rules and policies. If you will see the banks, if you will see any kind of governmental or non-governmental organizations, they have their administration, they have their data administration, right? So what is that particular data administration or the data governance means? Right? What it is actually indicating? It is nothing but it is the process of managing the data. So within the data, whatever the different properties that we have, the operations, the usability, the security, availability, quality, everything, the manipulations, everything, if we will just bind together, fine. So the management of all the properties of all the functions of the data is being held by the data administration or by the data governance. Okay. Now, so data administration or the data governance is the set of the policies, the processes, the standard metrics, fine, and it is supporting the roles that ensure the efficient and the effective utilization of information in order to support the organization. Okay, so whatever the organization it will be, whether it is a like it is in a banking or finance or it is a healthcare or it is any kind of non-profitable organization, fine. So every organization it can support. Now it establishes the responsibilities, okay, and also it establishes the process. Now which process it establishes? The process in which we can say that it will make the certain of some security and quality of data across an entire organization. Okay, so this clarifies that who is mandated to take what action on what data, under what circumstance, and using which techniques. Fine. So this completely clarifies you that whenever you are getting the data, okay, so on what action, on what data, under what circumstance, and using which technique you are going to complete manage that particular work. Okay. So, a well thought out information governance strategy is always crucial for all the enterprises, including those that work with the big data. Okay, including those that work with the big data. Fine. Now, so it is all about how well an organization knows its data. If I will just simply tell you, data administration is nothing but it is just about how well an organization knows its data. Fine, it is about the having a common and shared understanding of it, right? And also efficient. So the understanding should be efficient and also it should be effectively managed in order to optimize the business value, right? In order to optimize your business value. So basically, it is a combination of your policies, standards, and processes. We have the people and organization, and we have the technologies. Fine. So a company, it will put this in place to manage its data throughout its full life cycle. Okay. So it will just put all these three in their places to manage the data throughout its full life cycle. And also in result, it will give the high availability, usability, integrity, and the quality. Fine. So let's talk about the policies. Okay. Talk about the policies, standards, and the processes. So this policies indicates the general rules about the data that everyone within an organization must follow. Okay, that everyone within an organization must follow. Now, an example of data policy, let's take an example of data policy that verify and maintain the quality and integrity of data through all the steps of its life cycle. Fine. Now, every organization that we have, it should take time to define its data rules and regulations, right? So which must be aligned with its current business objectives and the realities. So what this means? This means is like when, or I can say not when. So reviewing the policies on a regular basis, we can say, right? If we will review the policies on a regular basis to verify whether they are still relevant or not, right? Then checking that they provide the right trade-off between your data privacy and the security, and also checking the availability of the data for analysis and the value generation. Fine. And also we have to translate the policies into the standards on which processes and procedure can be based. So these three things should be maintained when you are designing or when you are allocating any kind of policies regarding your data. Right? Now, coming to the people and organization. Coming to the people and organization. So here, whatever the policies the organization will be made, like it will just define. Fine. So those policies, standards, and the processes, those are executed, those will be executed by the people. Yes or no? Those will be executed by the people, and also once they are once those are decided, that should be guaranteed or that should be authorized by the organization. Fine. So based on that, if we will look at the different data administration operating models. Okay, we have many kinds. Okay, we have many kinds of that. So they go from completely independent or decentralized to fully centralized. Fine. And there is of course no good or bad model, and the organizations, if I will say, often opt for the hybrid models with some different splits of responsibilities between the data governance office and the business lines. Fine. So the most important is that every organization has to choose the model that best matches its reality and the ambition. Fine. Now, coming to the technology. So the tools and technology, if I will say, obviously the technology enables the peoples and the organization to work efficiently, right? Or we can say to efficiently comply with the data policies, their standards and their processes. Fine. So if I will talk about the minimum requirement. Okay. So what will be the minimum requirement? The minimum requirement is for it to support the process of the defining the data, and also with the management with for its metadata, or we can say for managing this metadata. Fine. Then performing the data lineage, and also it has the impact on the analysis, on the implementation, and also in the monitoring of the data quality. Okay, and also for the monitoring of the data quality. Fine. Now let's talk about how to develop a effective data governance. Okay, how to develop a effective data governance. Now, as we know
Ma'am,
that,
any data governance tool?
sorry,
Any data governance tool name?
sorry, I couldn't get you.
I'm saying you any data governance tool name?
Any data governance tools name.
Yeah,
So data governance tool, that is completely depends on which organization you're working.
Azure,
Okay. Azure is the cloud we have, right?
Azure
Azure.
Vault.
Azure Vault. So based on the cloud, if we will say we can do the data governance.
Yeah, we can do. Okay, any on-premise data tool?
On-premise data, so that is completely dependent upon the company that you are working, right? So cloud, if you will say, yeah, Azure Vault you can do. or else we can go for any other cloud platform which is providing the data governance and the data administration.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Now, how to develop the effective data governance, if you will say. So, as we know that data governance is the first and foremost a continuous effort of refinement and the improvement that should be driven by a partnership and a collaboration between all the departments, right? So, it is a broad category that includes the internal policy and the procedures that should be controlling the management of the data. Fine. So it ensures that the data is secure, the data is trustworthy, it is documented, managed, and audited properly. Fine. Now, in the process of, or in the way of developing the effective data governance, we have the drive the scope, make the change, connect the teams around the data. We have the better data, then measure and sustain. So let's discuss about one by one. First of all, we will go for drive the scope. So here, the program, the data governance program, okay, must have a clear scope and a clear objectives, right? Whenever you are performing this or whenever you are going to build this, so obviously the objective should be clear. The scope and the objective should be clear, and as we have seen before, that this must be aligned with the organization's business goals and the priorities. Okay, organizations, business goals and the priorities. And also it is important to define what data governance means to the organization and how it will help in achieving the global goals. Fine. Now, coming to make the change. So here, the data governance is all about the people and the organization more than anything else, right? So many such programs have failed because they were not paying enough attention to them. And a successful, if I will say, how to make it successful, it should be accompanied by the appropriate change management and the data literacy program, where the people should clearly understand what is in it for them and how this is impacting their jobs. Then each stakeholder should understand what is needed from the person during the data life cycle, and also everyone in the organization understands the life cycle and how is it transformed through the business processes of how like she or he is working. Fine. Now, connecting the teams around the data. So the people and the underlying organizations, fine. So they needs to be connected, and also they should have like common data objectives, and they will also speak the same data language. So the glue between all this is the metadata and the data catalogs in which this metadata is stored and managed, right? So having this single metadata management system within the organization where all the stakeholders, okay, where all the stakeholders can create and share the definitions, they can share the knowledge and also understanding of the data will facilitate the integration and the leveraging of the data assets across the different departments, processes and the applications. Fine. Now, coming to your better data. So here, the data governance program must consider putting in place a strong framework to implement, monitor, and to remediate the data quality checks regularly. So these checks must be available to all the stakeholders to optimize the transparency of the data the organization uses, okay, and thereby increasing this trustworthiness. Fine. Now, measure and sustain. So, as we know that data administration is a continuous effort of the refinement and the improvement. So, to achieve this, the organization must need to define from the beginning to clear the KPIs and the baselines that are aligned with the program objectives, and also to evaluate on regular basis, okay, via different audits, compliance, security, and quality, and how much the program is on track with regards to this baselines, and to make the necessary adjustments when required. Okay. Now, so what are the data governance challenges that we have? We have the legacy data systems, we have the data visibility, we have the unsecured data, lack of control over the data, right? Now, many organizations have the old data systems, right, which are inflexible and difficult to manage and hinder the free flow of data throughout the enterprise. Now, this makes it difficult to share, organize, and update the information. So, data that is isolated in separate silos, stale, or poorly organized can make it difficult to establish the data governance activities such as tracking the data records, categorizing the data, and applying the detailed security models. Fine. So in data visibility, we can ensure that the data governance requires the business to achieve the data transparency, right? So it must be clear which types of data exist in the organization and where it is stored. So who can access it and how it is used? So that legacy systems often obscure the answers to these questions. Fine. So data management process must be implemented to establish the strategy and the methods of accessing, consolidating, storing, transmitting, and preparing the data for the analysis. Fine. Now handling the unsecured data. So these are nothing but where when the establishment of the rules and the procedures are done to prevent the potential leakage of sensitive business and customer data, and also to prevent the data abuse. Okay. So however, the traditional data platforms created a isolated information silos that are difficult to visualize and trace. So without an integrated data store, the invisible on the untraceable data results will be in the security risk. Okay, so today we will stop here, and the rest of the part we will continue tomorrow. Fine. So tomorrow we are going to see the data assimilation, and we will combine both the things, and we will see how the SAS is giving the solutions to handle this kind of issues. Fine. So thank you everyone, and have a good day, and we will meet tomorrow at the same time with the same link.